Name is Dale, doing a review of the movie A Quiet Place, also Chappaquiddick, and I'm also going to do a recommendation for a Netflix series called 7 Seconds and a Paramount Network miniseries called Waco. I haven't done a movie review in about a month and a half. I haven't been to the theaters in between that time. The last movie I saw before A Quiet Place was Black Panther. There were like 4 movies that piqued my interest between that time that I had planned to go see, but for some reason or another I didn't go see. I was interested in Annihilation, Red Sparrow, Game Night, Unsane, but I didn't go see them. Quiet Place is a very good movie, and we're gonna get into this review of it. It's about this alien invasion, and the movie starts off like 89 days after the invasion. So basically the aliens won, and you have, I guess, pockets of humans here and there trying to survive. The aliens, they hunt their prey by sound. They have very strong hearing, so basically they can't really see that well or can't see at all, so they hunt by ear. Any sound out the norm gets their attention, and they pounce and they attack. And John Krasinski, he directs and writes and stars in this movie. He plays the husband. It's a movie about this family of 5 who's living like in this country area. It is the country, on like a farm where you can't see your neighbor in plain sight, like your neighbor is way off in the distance somewhere. So they're basically alone, trying to survive and live with these aliens. So they have to be very quiet in their everyday life, just to try to have something of a normal life, if you want to call it normal, where you can't make any noise, and they gotta communicate through sign language. I don't want to tell too much of the movie. But John Krasinski, I think I got his last name right. He's known as the guy from The Office, that NBC sitcom that came on years ago, had a good run, but he kind of shedded that image of him just being in that comedy series, and also playing in romantic comedies when he played in 13 Hours, which is based on a true story about the Benghazi attack. I said, oh, this dude can act. He can be in a serious type movie. I just don't see him as the comedy guy anymore, the goofy comedy guy. And Emily Blunt plays in A Quiet Place as well. She plays his wife, and I think she's his wife in real life. Everybody does a good job acting, but I thought Emily Blunt and the daughter, whoever plays the daughter, I'm not sure of her real name. I think her last name is Simmons or Summons or something like that. I could have that wrong. She's deaf in the movie, and I believe she's deaf in real life. She does a great job as well. So her and Emily Blunt were the 2 standouts. And going into this movie, I was skeptical about how the creatures will look. I was like, are they gonna look fake? Is the CGI gonna be off? Then I was thinking, well, maybe it'll be shot where you don't really get a good look at them. You just see flashes of them attacking and moving around. You never actually get a good look at them. And you really don't get a good look at them until like the middle of the movie. And they did a pretty good job with the look of the creatures. They look real. They look scary. They look imposing. They kind of remind me of the creatures in the Netflix series Stranger Things, but they actually look a little better than those and move around better than those. And the difference between, say, A Quiet Place and these zombie movies or zombie TV series, where, zombies are attracted by sound too. Zombies are very slow and easy to kill. These creatures are very fast and very hard to kill. So that makes things even dire in this film. And my wife was not a movie goer before we got together, but she's always very open-minded. So I would suggest a movie, and she'd say, all right, let's go. And there's been a few times where she was very skeptical herself about going into a movie and thinking it wasn't going to be good, but she never says anything and she never makes a judgment to after she sees the movie. And this was one of those times where she thought the movie was going to be bad and she ended up liking it just as much as me, if not more than me. So you have that. So it ain't just me who's digging the movie. It ain't just coming from my perspective. And this movie is kind of reminiscent of the movie Signs. I don't know if you're familiar with that movie. It was the movie with Mel Gibson, starring Mel Gibson. M. Night Shyamalan directed. Kind of reminiscent of that, but Quiet Place has a much better ending, whereas that movie had a terrible ending. It had some similarities to it to me. There were two questionable moments in A Quiet Place at the very beginning. I don't want to spoil it, but I was like, why would they let him lag behind like that? Me and my wife was saying that the whole time before something happened that happened. Like, why would they do that? I don't even have kids and I don't understand why they did that. But anyway, I don't want to spoil it. That was very questionable to me. And it was another scene that I was like, why didn't he notice that? Blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I'm nitpicking. They're very small. It didn't ruin the movie for me. The movie's still great. And I was going, is it an A minus or is it an A? And I don't want to make the mistake of underrating it like I did the movie It. I reviewed the movie It last year and I gave it an A minus. But when I watched it again, it was even better and it has a lot of repeat value. So I don't want to make the mistake of giving this an A minus and then watching it again and say, oh, this is an A. So I'm going to give it an A off the top. I don't think it will have the repeat value of It, but nevertheless, this is a very good movie. So go to the theaters and go see this. Now we're going to move on to Chappaquiddick. This movie is about Ted Kennedy. It's based on a true story. Ted Kennedy, one of the Kennedy brothers. He's involved in this fatal accident in 1969 that kills this young campaign aide. I believe the lady her name was Mary Jo. She died in this accident. And it's about, he made a lot of mistakes after the accident. Things he should have did it, he didn't. And it's basically about his people trying to cover it up. Basically, his father got a bunch of people to try to help him cover it up. So that's what the meat of the movie is about. And it dragged at times. It got a little boring at times. Not the whole movie on a whole is not boring, but it has some little slow moments. But it was some very funny moments where his advisors would give him advice how to spin this and how to make it not such a PR nightmare. And he would just mess it up. He would say the wrong thing or do some bonehead thing to mess up their whole idea and advice they gave him. And I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was very funny. Like, he wasn't too sharp, or the stress was getting to him so much he couldn't really think straight. And so I thought that was interesting. That made the movie worth watching. And you kind of got the sense that he never wanted to be president, because he's supposed to be running for president at this time. So this accident could derail his whole campaign for president. And you kind of got the sense even before this accident, he didn't really want to be president. It's like something his father wanted, and he was always trying to please his father. And how can you blame him for not wanting to be president? What happened to his two brothers before him? I mean, one brother getting killed as president, that's an outlier. But when your second brother gets killed about to run for president and look like he's going to be president, that's a trend. So I can understand why he didn't want no parts of that. I was going back and forth. Is it a B minus? Is it a C plus? I'm gonna give it a B minus. I wouldn't really recommend you go to the theater to see this. It's not a bad movie, but I think it's more enjoyable at home. This is more of a home movie that you can watch It really get invested at home opposed to going to the theater. So now I'm gonna get into this Netflix recommendation. 7 Seconds. The series is 10 episodes. It's on Netflix. It's about this young black teenager who gets killed by a cop. And the cop is part of this like drug enforcement squad or team. They try to cover it up. So then you got this lawyer along with this detective that tries to get to the bottom of this. It's a lot of cover up, a lot of betrayal, a lot of trust issues in this. It can get depressing at times, a lot of drama. It's unpredictable, a lot of different storylines. Regina King plays the mother of the teenager who got killed. She does a great job. But I thought the two standouts was this actor named Michael Mosley who plays the detective Joe. His nickname is Fish on that joint. And he did a great job. I thought he elevated the series. He made the series worth watching just as much as all the rest of them. He really highlighted how good this series is. And then you also have this actor named David who plays the cop called D'Angelo. His name is D'Angelo, and he's just the polar opposite of Fish. Fish is this good detective that's trying to do his job, trying to do the right thing. He's a good cop, where D'Angelo is crooked. And I thought those two really made this a special series. And the series is kind of a mixture of The Shield. If you're familiar with The Shield, it was an FX series that came on years ago. And The Shield is one of my favorite series of all time. It's in my top 5 series of all times. And you could say it's 7 Seconds is like a version of a good episode of Law and Order stretched out into 10 episodes. And you also have a little American crime elements in there as well, which Regina King was in too. She was in that series. So if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. I give it an A. This could be one season, but they left it open for a second season, so I'm pretty sure they're going to do a second season. So let's move on to Waco. It's a Paramount Network series, mini-series. It's only 6 episodes, so it's easy to binge. I believe Paramount Network used to be the Spike Network. And it's about the actual events that happened in Waco, where you had the FBI having a standoff with this cult leader, David Koresh, and his followers. And they're in this compound, and they're trying to get him out this the FBI trying to get him out this compound. Taylor Kitsch, he plays David Koresh. He does a good job. You have Michael Shannon, who plays the FBI negotiator, trying to get him out of there before his superiors just go in there and just kill everybody. It gives you a lot of insight of what happened in Waco. There's been documentaries on Waco, but it's good to see it acted out in this story form. It gives you a different perspective. And the standout performance to me was this lady. I don't know the actress name, but she plays the mother of one of the people that follows David Koresh. I believe his name was David Thibodeau. She plays his mother. She had a small role, a side role you could say, but she shines every time she's on the screen. And the parallels between the mother in Waco and Regina King character in 7 Seconds is you have two mothers who are willing to do any and everything for their son. Where Regina King, she's willing to go and do things and have no limit to what she'll do to get justice for her son. Where you have the mother of David Thibodeau, who just wants to get him out of that place before he gets arrested or he gets killed. And you just see the lengths that they go to try to accomplish that. And they really give both series the heart, and you really feel a pain. You see how desperate they are. You believe how desperate they are. And it really shows unconditional love that a mother has for a son. And I think that's what make both of these series a step above your typical series on TV or on cable or on streaming networks. So I highly recommend you watch both of those series. I give Waco an A. And there you have it. I'm done. Tired of talking.